Please welcome Dr. Gregg Steinberg.
Well, I'm back. You know how when you're running that 10K and you see the finish line and your shoulders start coming back and your energy comes back? Well, we're almost at the finish line. So I hope that will perk you up a little bit. And I'm going to finish up today talking about great energy, and then we're going to have a funny man, Don McMillan, come out right after me. So can we have the first slide up there? Thanks. This is my dog. He's an Italian Greyhound, and I'm not sure if you know Italian Greyhounds. Basically, he's a miniature Greyhound. Most people have never seen an Italian Greyhound. They're very unique, and when we walk our dog, we always get the same question: what kind of dog is that? And we always say, he's an Italian Greyhound, his name is Fabio, and he speaks Spanish. And that's true. His name is Fabio. And Fabio's got this great personality. When we're on the couch together, we say, Fabio, do you want to take a bath? And he gets off the couch very slowly and walks and looks back, and he hates baths. And then he leaves the room. And what Fabio loves to do, though, is he loves to run. He's a Greyhound. He's meant to run. And when we're in the field, my girlfriend's on one side of the field and I'm on the other side of the field, we let Fabio run back and forth, and he's got this great smile. He's running as fast as he can because he's meant to run. That's what he is supposed to do. And that's what I want to talk about. Next slide. Right now is about happiness. Happiness basically is about meaning, purpose, and the power of pride. But let me go back a step and say, are you happy? Not just right now, but in your lives. Because happiness is your right. More than 200 years ago, Thomas Jefferson penned in the Declaration of Independence, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that we're endowed by the Creator with inalienable rights, those being the rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Unfortunately, many of us pursue happiness using the wrong currency. We go on vacations, we go shopping, we buy stuff, and it's kind of like our happiness has a bucket. We have a happiness bucket. And we have to continually fill it because our happiness bucket has holes in it. Even success sometimes won't fill up our happiness bucket. I remember a couple years ago, Tom Brady was on 60 Minutes, and Tom Brady is one of the most successful quarterbacks in history. And Ed Bradley asked him, what do you think about your success? And Tom says, I keep on asking myself, is this all there is? Is this all there is? Because for Tom, his success was not filling up his happiness bucket. It wasn't plugging up the holes. What we know from psychology is the way to plug up the holes in your happiness bucket, to have long-term happiness, to have authentic happiness, is to have meaning in our lives, to have purpose, and to have pride in what we do. And I want to talk about Xing Zhang, but before I do you remember the earthquake, the Sichuan earthquake in China in 2007? It was a 7.0 Richter scale, killed 70,000 people, and not as tragic as the Haiti earthquake, but very, very tragic. Well, about 2 years ago, I was watching the Wimbledon semifinals, the women, and Xing Zhang was playing Serena Williams. And let me put this in perspective. Xing Zhang is 5'0", weighs about 100 pounds. Serena Williams has her by 10 inches, 100 pounds of muscle, has won 11 majors. Xing Zhang has never won a major. But that day, Zhing Zhang was out-hitting Serena, outrunning Serena, winning almost all the points. And then I discovered the power of pride because the commentator said, Zhing Zhang is playing for her village, the people in her village. And all the money she is going to make in this tournament, probably the most money she's ever won, is going back to her village and the people from her village. And that's when I discovered the power of pride. She had the power of pride, all that great energy. And I really stand before you today very proud to speak to Hughes. And I rarely say this to companies because Hughes is much more than product, much more than service, much more than margins, much more than technology. Hughes, to me, and what I've discovered, is about creating a positive change in our world. Because what Hughes does is it helps villages like Zhing Zhang's communicate to the world under tragic conditions as well as under good conditions. And Hughes helps villages, rural villages in Mexico, basically help their children get their children more educated and more effectively educated because of the technology that Hughes has developed. And as we learned earlier, in Sao Paulo, it helps the health services industry, and it goes on and on and on. And Hughes is much more than product, service, margins. And I want you to give yourself a big hand, because I think Hughes is huge. Hughes is about creating a positive change in the world. And I know there's a lot of times last year and the year before where you didn't feel so good about what you did, and things don't always go well. But what I would recommend is develop your pride list. And your pride list is, think about what Hughes does for the world. And write on your pride list what Hughes does. And every time you are feeling a little low, a little depressed, not so good, look at your pride list, because it's going to supercharge your energy. Because we don't get authentic energy and we don't get authentic happiness from supplements or artificial ingredients. We get great energy from within. And I want to end today talking about the butterfly effect. And the butterfly effect was proposed by a scientist in the 1960s. And he said, the flapping of the wings of a butterfly can create weather changes across the globe. And everybody laughed at him, and you're probably thinking, that's kind of silly. And when I heard about that, I thought that was kind of silly. But in the 1990s, the scientists supported the principle of the butterfly effect. And that is, small changes on one side of the world can have a huge impact in terms of weather on the other side of the globe. And life is like that. You are the butterfly effect. When you have small changes in your life, like turn pressure into pleasure, like fire your bad inner caddy and train and retrain your good inner caddy, that can have a huge impact in your life. And just as important, we are the butterfly effect, because what you do at Hughes has a huge impact throughout the globe. And I challenge you to always believe that Hughes is the butterfly effect and continues to be the butterfly effect. So I leave you. Have a great year, and I challenge you to continue that mental and emotional toughness. Thank you very much.